Jaqueline, a teacher of inclusive and special education, had been trying to understand what was happening to her since she was a child. At the age of 35, during a deep depression, she heard a voice that made her relive a moment when she had a near-death experience at the age of 7. During an accident, she was transported to a dimension of intense light where she encountered mysterious beings. Connected to her physical body by a silver thread, she realized a reality where communication occurred without words. This memory had been blocked for decades. Hello, I'm Marcus, and it's a pleasure to have you here at Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and absorb the lesson from the story we're about to share. By the way, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it's very important to us and helps bring more impactful stories to you. In her childhood, there was a very heavy and unstable tank in the backyard of her house. Although she had been warned not to get close, she went to wash her hands in it. The tank fell on top of her, causing intense pain. Trying to fight to lift it, she lost her voice, her breath, and couldn't muster enough strength. Suddenly, she found herself in another place, a place with very strong and intense light. There, she realized she could breathe well and was healthy, unlike her usual childhood condition, which was frail and thin. At that moment, a man approached her, seeming surprised and questioning what she was doing there. Scared, she felt her body return to the spot of the incident. But quickly, she found herself once again in that luminous place. The man was there again, trying to calm her down. The girl felt she knew him, although she couldn't identify who he was. When this first man approached to touch her, a second being appeared. The first man seemed to want her to stay there, and she felt excited because she liked the place, thinking it was pleasant. When the first man tried to touch her, the other being stopped him, saying,
"Don't touch, you must not touch her."
At that moment, she returned to the backyard. As she ascended again, the girl saw her body down below and noticed there was something like a thread connecting her to her physical body. This made her think it was like a kite, questioning what was happening, until she became afraid of falling or swinging, trying to hold herself somehow. Then the second being approached and placed his hand on her head, saying,
"Calm down, everything will be fine."
After that, she returned to the backyard, where her two cousins arrived to help her. They gave her water to drink, and she wondered why it took them so long to help her. During the experience, she felt like two people: a curious child who wanted to explore that white place and stay there, and another, more mature part that understood what was happening and respected it. Together, she felt a sense of belonging to that place, as if she had known it, feeling peace and comfort. Her body up there seemed different, stronger and more developed than her sickly, thin physical body in the backyard. She also noticed that she saw her spiritual body as transparent, as if in a mist, but with the details of her arms, fingers, and everything well defined. The thread connecting her to her physical body came from the top of her head, from her body in the backyard, and rose up to her. It was a shiny silver thread, about the thickness of a thumb. The first man who appeared seemed familiar to the girl. Later, an aunt suggested it might have been her father, who died when she was around 2 years old, but she isn't sure about that. The second being was much taller, to the point of having to bend down to pass through a normal door, and she felt his hand was gigantic, but at the same time, it fit perfectly, a rather strange situation. Despite that, the feeling was very good, and it seemed like her body wanted to fit into that hand. She realized there was organization and hierarchy there, and when the second being appeared, the first man showed respect. Communication happened without mouths moving, but she understood everything. Jaqueline didn't remember this experience until she was 35, when she was going through a deep depression related to questioning existence. She told the psychiatrist that she didn't fit in, that she found the world strange, that things happened to her at certain moments. The doctor considered various possibilities, including post-traumatic stress disorder and even studies on schizophrenia, but realized it wasn't that. During this crisis, she begged for a reason to continue existing. That's when she heard a powerful voice saying,
"You want to know, then you will know."
This voice was strong, but it didn't hurt her ears. She felt her body sink into the pillow and started to relax, followed by good memories from her childhood, until she finally remembered that near-death experience. She remembers feeling that this voice knew her suffering and understood her situation. She also remembers that when she looked at the sky as a child, she felt a strange nostalgia, sometimes crying without knowing why, feeling something in her chest. Even today, she gets emotional when she sees images of space and the starry sky. In that luminous place, she could see in all directions simultaneously. This scared her at the time, as she realized she was looking up, down, and to the sides all at once. She also noticed the difference between the silence of that place and the sounds of birds and animals coming from the backyard, feeling euphoria and curiosity in that environment, wanting to explore and discover what lay beyond. Her spiritual body seemed stronger and more developed than her physical body. When she thought of her physical body in the backyard, she immediately saw it, not perceiving limits between the clouds where she was and the body below. Jaqueline became very emotional when she remembered the experience, as it felt like something very intimate and really gave her a reason to continue existing. Currently, she and her husband are big admirers of space. When the James Webb Telescope started operating, this event was a reason for euphoria in their house. She still gets emotional when she sees images of the cosmos and enjoys the starry sky in the rural area where she now lives.